is good. I don't know if anyone is here. Um, but I'm here. I'm gonna wait a bit for anyone to come in, if it's gonna happen at all. So, I was having some trouble getting this all together. My CPU isn't very strong or fast or whatever. So, dude, my man C Tombo is here. What is good? I'm gonna look at the chat on my phone so I could use different internet for each one. I should be all set and groovy right now, dude. Thank you. Is the audio all good and stuff? Like, what's going on? Because my new look, can't really tell what the frick is going on. Oh, I can do this, make it a lot easier. Yeah, how's the excited? Yo, what's up, Desmond? Is the audio good? Like, I'm gonna play the track a little bit. We should be vibing. Let me know if you can hear that.
I only want you to think I'm fantastic. I'll participate in what you believe if you give me the attention. Yeah, that's the only compensation. What is that big rush for? Oh, yeah, preparing to draw me. No way, please don't. I am scared of what I'll see. Blame it on my Cooperage skyscrapers in the clouds. But if it wasn't for you, you'd have multiple crown. Am I supposed to choose which one I belong to?
I swear I can figure this out. Why is like I tried to think of like everything before I started this, but for some reason the chat maybe too loud if you're trying to talk over the music. All right, I'll turn the music down a bit. I'm not really trying to talk over the music, but it's probably really annoying to
Scrapers in the clouds. But if it wasn't
turn it
for
down
you,
a little bit. Hopefully that will help. Anyways, yeah, the chat's just gonna be like maybe 5 or 10 seconds behind. So if you say something, I won't know until a million years later. All right, I also don't even know. I'll never know how many people are actually watching. I gotta figure this out like way better. I'm just a total idiot. Oh, this will work. Okay, never mind. This should be good. All right, here we go, y'all. I'm gonna just jump into the beginning. I know it's just a few people vibing, but we're gonna just go through all of this, and hopefully there's no lagging or anything. But it seems like everything's working pretty well. So you're gonna have to let me know if there's like any lags or anything bad happening. It's my first time with this new overlay, stuff like that. Anyways, I also had to like freeze all my tracks so my CPU wouldn't explode, but here we go. We're gonna start right here from the beginning. Oh yeah. Classic. So the original, yeah, this is Things That Rhyme with Orange, a cover from I Set My Friends on Fire, my favorite band when I was in middle school, and honestly still one of my favorite bands today. Definitely was like a huge influence on who I am as a musician and human being. So let's listen to the beginning of the actual song. Okay, that is the original. And here I have... Okay, so I don't have any percussion or any drums like that. Dude, I'm assuming that something's screwing up right now. So if anyone wants to say hello, maybe if I go on Wi-Fi, but I'm afraid if there's too many things on Wi-Fi, something bad will happen. Anyways, I guess we'll see. So we got this arp. We have this arpeggio thing. And this is me just like I said, everything's frozen, but this is me just playing those notes, and then I have a delay send that's playing all those. And thank you, Christian. And I'm just playing the chords for this. I sort of reharmonized it a little bit. This is an A minor 11. And that's just a G major. That's A minor 9. And then you can hear that it gets a little bit dull right here. It's because there's a filter that closed in on it. So if we start from the beginning. And then it sort of like closes in on itself. It's like someone put it in there. There's just a low pass filter that's automating that down, so that's really simple. Let's check out the actual like riff that I made. This is the juiciest thing in the world. Nothing too weird with that. This is Anna, the arpeggio stuff. Dude, thank you. I love arpeggios. The next 3 or 4 songs I'm putting out are just like chock full of arpeggios. So there's a bunch of delay on this, and it's just me. I just replayed the beginning of it on Anna, A-N-A. It's a synth from Slate Digital. So that's the beginning of that. Nothing too weird there. I'm going to mute the vocals real quick, and then we'll jump into that. I'm pretty stoked that everything seems to be working good so far, which is very tight. Okay, so here we are. We're in some a little bit more of a ominous vibe going on. I got this guitar. That's just me playing that. That's me playing that on my guitar. Sorry, I have to like solo my microphone with everything else, so if something weird happens, that's what's going on. Excuse me. Okay. Some cymbal. This is my favorite. This is my favorite cymbal impact sound. It's like, it reminds me of Kingdom Hearts. Like when you hit like the last final boss and you hit the guy and like that sound that it makes. Dude, so sick. This is cymatics. I use like all cymatic sounds. Utopia Crash. I think this is in the Porter Robinson sample pack or something. Okay, and then we also have this pad. This really nice pad. Oh my goodness. Okay, I would unfreeze this and freeze it again, but it literally takes a minute, like an entire 60 seconds. I like did this whole thing yesterday just by myself, and takes a whole minute to unfreeze it. So I'm going to tell you really quick, this is like my stock future bass saw wave sort of pad, and I'm going to try and just recreate it really quick. So let's open a new track. This is like my bread and butter right here. This is like the future bass, big saw sound. Additionally, there's a bunch of stacks on top of it, of course, but okay, so I'm going to go to Serum. Now, I think I have a preset of this, and it's called Super Saw For Real, because I made another one that sounded like garbage. Let me play this really quick. This might explode my computer. Oh my goodness gracious. Wrong way. Yep. Desmond, I just got your chat thing. Yeah, this is the Serum thing. One sec. So this is my, I think I sent this to you. I emailed this to you, but so the reason my computer is exploding is because, so for anyone who's watching who doesn't know how Serum works, there's two oscillators, and an oscillator is like the sound source of a synthesizer. So you can see there's oscillator A, this green triangle, and oscillator B, which is another green triangle. So there's two sounds going on at once. There's also, this is like so important, even though it's really tiny, there's this unison button. And what that does is it doubles the oscillator. You might think, why on earth are you just doubling the same sound? Well, this detune knob, you can detune all of those voices. So I'm going to play just oscillator A. And now they're all in tune. There's 16 voices all at the same time. And I'm going to slowly detune it, and you'll hear it kind of get wider and bigger. And that's the sound. That's literally it. And you'll see, since I have a second oscillator, there's this little OCT +1 that's up 1 octave. So now the first oscillator is playing 16 voices, a little bit detuned. The second oscillator is doing the exact same thing, but an octave up. So it's just like so many notes, and they're all a little bit detuned. And even the way they do the unison, the detuning is it's all panned to the left and right. So you just get this like disgustingly huge sound. And with these chords I put together, it's just like so lush. Like I said, this is what I use for like all of my drops. I just stack them with different sounds on top. So the chords right here, F major 9, D minor 9, A minor 9, and then a G4. So for all my theory homies out there, if you play a 5 chord, like if you're in C major and you play a G chord, and you add in the 4th scale degree, so a G4 chord, spelled G, B, C, D, you get this really cool, that chord right there. There's a lot of dissonance in that, and I like my dissonance. So you can hear from the beginning, that's like a high pass kind of coming in, and that sort of fades everything together. Cool. Those are like the main sounds, just with the real, I'm not going to get into the vocals till like the very end. Oh no, am I freezing? Okay. Until the very end, but I basically took the track and I used something called Isotope, and I was able to like extract just the vocals. You can hear it doesn't sound very good, and there's parts in the song where it actually sounds like awful, especially like with the screaming parts. And I messaged Matt, who was kind of working, Matt Mihana of I Set My Friends on Fire. I was working with him like kind of close on this, kind of like I was talking to him about it, and I was hoping he could have redone them for me. Obviously, that's like a lot to ask for anyone to redo like the vocals for a song. So that didn't work out, but I was like sending him drafts and stuff, and he actually helped me get it up on Spotify because it's like a cover and there's like some, copyright business. He said he knew someone on Spotify, so shout out Matt Mihana. You are the boss. Okay, let's keep going. I muted my vocals. Yeah, this is me singing on here. If you guys didn't know that, I just like re-sang it because the extracted vocals sounded terrible, and also I kind of just like, this is the music I've been listening to growing up, so my voice just kind of sounds like this. Everything's kind of vibing. There's a little bit, it's kind of subtle, but you hear this swell, and it goes back down. That's like something really important to think about when you're making stuff. It's really easy to just lay pads down and sing over it, but you want like some movement happening always. So if I open up the automation here, which it's all printed so you can't see it, you're actually going to see the filter open up. Let me sell this. Let me get the other one too. This track is so big. Seriously, look at this. 134 tracks. What the frick? So you're gonna hear it. This you probably won't have never noticed this in the song, but you feel it. So it's opening up right here at the end of the phrase, and then it closes back down, and then it opens up. So it like swells to the end and then builds back down. This is something that is not new to music in general. Like people that are like orchestral classical composers and arrangers, they do that. They swell with the volume. They don't have cutoff, but obviously with an instrument, if you like swell with the volume, it kind of does the same with the timbre and all this stuff. So that's really important. Just make shit move. Just make it not static. All right, and then we're getting to the big drop. This is like, I was so stoked when I did this. This was my favorite part of this whole thing. Oh my goodness, I got so much to talk about. Let's jump into it. So we're just gonna go from the top down. Right here we have this kick. 4-1 on the beat, or I guess and 1. Phenomenal. You hear all these weird sounds going on when I turn it off. I'll talk about that. Here's 2 cymbals that are happening, and they're both cymatics. And then my Kingdom Hearts symbol. So there's that. So for right here, there's not too much different stuff going on. I just added a bass basically. So there's the beginning arpeggio. That's doing the same thing. This guitar lick that I harmonized. This was like part in the original song, so that wasn't too weird. Those big chords, you know, the filter's just all the way open, so it sounds a lot bigger. The arpeggio, like from the original part of the song where it goes bloop, 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 I'm just like holding those down, and I have an arpeggiator on it, so I'm playing a chord, but the synthesizer is running through all of the notes really fast. Check it out. And there's a bunch of delay on it, so it's just like this super large, crazy sound. And let's talk about this bass. Oh, yeah. So this is like my Reese bass, my 808. I would open this up for you, but again, I printed it and take forever to put it back. This is the Anna synthesizer, ANA from Slate, and it's just the preset called Dragon. That's literally all it is. And the bass line is just like following, the chords, of course. F, D, A, G. There's some other little fills, like bass fills. Like theoretically what's happening, I'm basically like, let's say it's an F chord. So that first big fat chord is like an F major 9 or something. The bass, when it moves, it should really not do anything melodic. It should just kind of skip through the notes of the chord, specifically just like the 1 and the 5. You can try and get crazy. I mean, I'm getting a little bit wild with it, but like right there, that was basically like a 1, 5, 1. So on the D minor chord, it's just going D, A, D, and I have a little passing tone. Oh, wait. That's actually not what's happening at all. It's going through the chord. D, A, E, F. Wow. Yeah, that is what's happening. Sorry, it's not 1, 5, 1. But again, those are just like the notes of the chords. Dum, dum, dum. Dum, 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 dum. It's just like the notes of the chords. You can't make melodies on the bass. It sounds terrible. Like that's not what the bass is supposed to be there for. So if you're trying to do something groovy, just make sure it's like hitting along with the rest of the notes. And then I have this little pad that's just hitting 2 notes. Like no matter if the chords are moving like differently, it's just A and E. You can hear I'm kind of like adding some other notes in there for flavor, but it's really just A and E. And then, most importantly, it's all side chained. So yeah, sidechain to the kick. I just have my compressor right here, and you're gonna see the sidechain kind of bump in. That big red mark is where it, ducks all the other sounds down. But my favorite part about what's going on, I hope you guys can still hear me and that we're all good. I'm like a little anxious about this not going well, but no one said anything, and I think we're going strong. So oh, dude, this is wild. I've always had so much trouble with this stuff. I'm so glad it's working. One sec. Okay, so the most important part about this right here is I have a plugin on here called Tape Stop. Okay, and this is a kilohertz, and this is from the Slate bundle as well. That's the only like paid thing I have is the Slate bundle. It's really cool. I'm gonna turn the automation off and just show you what it does when I do it myself. So I'm gonna click it off, on. So it has this like the exact sound I'm trying to get, and I just automate it on and off. Super cool. It's like I feel like usually when I'm producing, I'm always thinking about like in a band setting what's happening, like all the little like minute details. So when you're playing guitar and if you did something like that in a band, you would be like, and you'd slide your hand down, or especially a bass. And when everyone comes in, of course, every hardcore musician would be like, and they slide up to those notes. So that is one of my favorite plugins. I use it all the time. Yep, everything's good. Oh my god, we are only 40 seconds into the song. Sweet, so this is what I call the drum and bass section. I'm gonna turn the lights on. Hopefully that kind of helps. We're still good, right? It says we're live, no frames dropped. Yeet. Okay. So the drum and bass part, I call it. Let's check it out. Okay. So with the synths, it's actually nothing has changed at all. All the synths are the same. The only thing that's changed is the drum part, which is this faster, obviously I programmed all this myself. Come on, dude. So since the kick drum is still sidechained, or is sidechaining everything else in here, the chords are like pumping. Sweet. Thank you, Dad. Told me everything's running perfect. Since the beat changed, the side chaining is different too, since it all just reacts from the compressor. So if we listen to the chords that are being side chained, you can hear them kind of pumping in and out, and it's just the kick drum that's side chaining it all. I could go through all these like little parts together, but I'm not really gonna do that. So I'm just gonna like solo it and build it up so you can see what's going on. Kick and snare. You'll notice that the snare on beat 2 and 4 is always the loudest. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And all the other sounds are kind of ducked below because I really like to have the strong 2 and 4. Sometimes people with the snare, they'll like not change the velocities when they're doing different things like that. But I think it's important to keep 2 and 4 the loudest. Everything else kind of like a vibe. Christian, the side chain means so every time the kick drum hits, it's going to force another instrument to duck down beneath it. So check this out. Here is the huge, synth part, all of these sounds, the stack of sounds. And I turned the side chaining off. If I turn it back on, you can hear it pumping. And that is dependent, 100% dependent on the kick drum. So notice that the kick drum pattern plays every time that the sounds duck under. So I'm going to play them just the kick and the synths at the same time. And if you didn't have the side chaining on there, like the energy just like it's just not there anymore. Like that the dynamics of that pumping is so integral to dance music in general. I use it in all my songs. I mean, everyone uses it in all their tracks. Like, if you don't know how to sidechain, just learn how to do it, and you just sound professional. Like, that's like all it takes. If you guys know San Holo, he literally just like makes a really crappy song. I love San Holo, so I don't feel bad saying this, but he just makes like these cruddy instruments with like, that's like out of tune. Everything sounds like weird and wonky. And then he just puts like a fat 808 under it, and he sidechains everything to the kick drum. And it's like automatic. It's like, oh my God, this sounds amazing. Okay, so let's build up this drum and bass thing really quick. Kick and snare. Added this weird like swipey kind of sound. Again, you probably can't tell, but I programmed all these rhythms. I just glued the sections together to make it easier to manipulate and to like copy. Like this, again, I'm like, a little elitist in saying that. Like, I don't use loops or anything. Not that I can recall. I take sounds and I edit them around. But anyways, so here's a swipey thing. We got a little trap hat in there. This is like a weird, I don't know, a stick hitting against like a pole or something. We got these little trap like what's going on. We got our ride cymbal. Looks like there's another snare. What is that? Just a huge snare sound. Another little bell. And then some tom little fills. Go a little bit faster. And that's all of that. Put it together. All right, this part is my favorite. So everything drops out except this sound. This is just like the juiciest. I didn't come up with this sound. I wish I did. I think I used a preset and kind of like messed around with it a little bit, but it sounds really good. Thanks, Dad. My dad said, "I love the percussion." Thanks, compadre. So what was I saying? Okay, so let's check out this synthesizer. I'm gonna try and show you the synth. Hopefully it doesn't destroy everything. 1 second. Oh, sweet, it worked. Okay. I'm playing those same chords: F major 9, D minor 9, A minor 11. Let's look at the synth. It's called Chord Vintage. I think this is, it's from Cymatics. Chords for Serum, Chord Vintage. And I want to say I messed around with the LFO in here. The LFO is, of course, like the most important part. But it's also really interesting. You hear that this sound is like, it sounds sandy. It sounds dirty. It sounds like someone's like crushing dirt. Listen to it again. You hear like this sand sound. That's because there's just no like white noise, like static from a TV. There's this little noise button right here, and you could route the sound of just whatever, like it's usually static or white noise or something really harsh and distorted. And you add that to your noise, and like it just makes it sound cooler. It's like instead of taking a sound and trying to manipulate the sound to have a certain way, you take a sound and you just add another sound. That's like my entire sound design process. I can't stand EQing or compressing or doing all that stuff. I just like add, if I'm like, oh, that snare needs to be punchier, I just add a punchier snare, or that synthesizer needs to have more low end. Like I just add another low end synth. I don't try to EQ all this stuff. I don't got time for that. So here's the synth by itself without the noise. Still pretty sandy. Still's got the sand in there, but the noise does add some oomph to it. And there's also, let me freeze that again. Okay, I'm not doing that anymore. That definitely made it seem like something bad's happening now. Because I had to freeze that, and it took a little bunch of CPU. And anyways, there's also a little hi-hat that's playing the rhythm with. Just gives it a little bit more like articulation. Very cool drum fill. Not gonna explain this too much, but you can see I have the kick, the toms, the snare, and I just programmed this cool fill. Bam. And then I have these guitar chords. Oh, this is pretty interesting, actually. Let's listen to these guitar. It's me playing those. Is your new track coming out at 12? I think it's Eastern time, actually. So I guess like 3 or 4 hours it'll be out. That's how it's always done when I've distributed it. Now that I'm working with this label, it might be like Pacific time, but in the past it's always been like 10 o'clock my time. So yeah, new track coming out tomorrow for anyone listening. That's exactly why I'm doing this, so I should probably shout that. Yeah, my dad said, did I just hear some metal? Yes, we are going to get into a lot of metal. This is going to be very cool. Check out this bass sound. This is a bass, and this is another thing I do all the time. I really like a like throaty, mid-range, like chunky bass. And I found that if you play octaves on a piano, like a really low, let me try it really quick. This is sound design hack. I actually got this from some tutorial from some dude a long time ago who just like, he just adds, like, he would engineer and produce a band, and he'd just add a bunch of stuff afterwards that they didn't even ask for, and they would be like, wow, this sounds good, and he's like, yeah, I mixed it really well. But in reality, he's just like adding his own like little sounds and effects to make it sound better. So this sound of the piano octaves, like really low, has this naturally like guttural, just like so like heavy. To me, it sounds so like primitive, so chunky. So you kind of, let me delete that. You kind of like bring that into everything else you're doing. You can hear that boom, boom, and it gives everything just like this fat chunk that wasn't there before. And if you take it out, Dude, no chunk. No chunk. Let's put it back in. I don't know. I can hear it. It's like a huge difference. Okay, and then this impact, honestly, there's not much anything different going on. I got the same drum groove as before. We have these like little effect, again, the same sort of crash sounds. I have this really fun, this is from a Nintendo, like NES. I don't know, I got it from some sound pack. Sounds kind of cute. Yeah, I got that beginning riff added into it. Oh, shoot. This is all the same sounds that we were checking out. This is all the sounds that we were checking out in the beginning. All I'm doing is adding these like this sandy synthesizer sound over it. And it just sounds epic. Guitar solo. Let's solo that out real quick. Who did that? Absolute shreddage. No one can call me a sellout because I straight up put a guitar solo in my dance track. That's I just used my guitar, my 7-string over here, plugged it straight into my computer, and I have this like virtual amplifier that I got from Slate. Makes me sound real good. Came up with a nice tasty lick that I thought worked there. And boom. That's that. Okay. Verse 2. So the original song. You can't really hear it that well, but the original song basically does this exact same thing. So I just copy it. This is a very like 80s riff sound. You can hear the filter opening up on it. And then when you hear it close down, that's the same, shred away. That's the same tape stop plugin that I used before to get that, like, it's pitch, it's a majority of a pitch thing that gives it that sound, and the tape stop just does it really nicely. And then we get into this like double time thing. I'm completely aware this is like the cheesiest thing I've ever like actually put out as like, yeah, this is like a song, like this is mine. This is like so silly sounding, but obviously, whoops. Uh-oh. Hello? What's going on here? Hello? Can you hear me? Are we good? Check. Oh, I can't hear myself for some reason. Can you guys tell me if you can hear me? I'm just not coming out. Let me make a new. Yeah, you can still hear me. I can't hear me, which is bothering me. 1 second. Hello? Dude. Why? So you can hear me talking? It's just like not going through. Restream. Why is it on 2? Check. Alright, well that's... That's gonna like really bug me. Okay, well whatever. Don't know why on earth I wouldn't be able to hear myself. Oh, I pressed some button. Because if I hear myself, I'm gonna forget myself on when I Check. Check. Probably can't hear that. Okay. I think we're good now. I mean, I guess you guys are always good, but it was freaking me out. I couldn't hear myself. Okay. Whoopsies. Down like how it was before. Okay. I think we're good now. My dad says nothing changed. Okay. Yeah, it was just freaking me out. Anyways, here we are, verse 2. Nothing too much to talk about here. It's like exactly what you think it is. Some stupid like club house beat at 168 BPM. We got some. That's me playing those guitar chords. It's the same exact thing they did in the song. We have that little riff over it. And then this little bass sound. You notice I have two bass sounds. I have my Reese bass, which is the actual like low end rumble you're gonna feel and hear. And then I have something called bass dirt. And this is just like that throaty, kind of distorted sound that you need to hear to actually like hear the bass on like a phone or something, because you can't really hear like low end stuff on a phone, or sometimes even headphones. So you'll notice this is where my head was. I was like, oh, I like this bass. I was like, oh, it needs to be a little bit more gritty. So I literally just added another sound that was gritty, and now it sounds like it's one sound doing the same thing, right? That's basically that. If you guys have any questions about it, let me know. I guess I added this little thing right here. And there's, of course, like reverse and impact sounds all over the place. I added another snare right here to give it like right here. There's no snare. Let me turn everything down. You probably notice there's no snare drum for this part. It's just it has like the beat going, and then right here I actually bring in the snare, gives it more like a backbeat. Right. Nothing weird there. Trap hats going on. This is kind of cool. I mean, there's some things I'm always going to forget to talk about, but this is something I find myself doing with beats. Like, you need to make sure you have, like, phrases. If you have, like, the same measure loop going over and over, it's going to sound really monotonous. And the easiest way you can do that, let's say you have, like, a one measure loop, and you do it 4 times in a row. If you just change something on that 4th time, all of a sudden you have, like, a 4 measure phrase. And it gives it, like, some movement and some what do you call some momentum. So check this out. So you can hear I added another snare. It's actually like glass breaking or something. I don't even know. But it has like a really big like reverse sound to it too. I think I made this sound. Yeah, I made this sound. I just like put together a bunch of different sounds and like, you know, very nicely kind of overlap them into this like thing. I use it in a lot of other stuff too. So if I didn't have those two snares, the beat kind of just like drags on. You know, there's no like phrasing. There's nothing like helping it be music. So when you add these snares, it just, I don't know, it just gives it some movement. I don't know. Anyways. Yeah. Things cut out for a second, and then we go in this next part. The big future bass drop. Okay, there's actually like a lot to talk about here, so let's get the drums going. Uh-oh, guys, I lied. Here's a percussion loop. I didn't make that. I stole that loop from Cymatics. I lied. I suck, dude. Anyway, so I have this, you know, trap beat thing going on. It's hard to talk about everything that's going on, but I'll just, you know, solo things out. So kick and snare, trap hat, got the open hi-hat, another snare drum. We have these crunchy snares. Again, not every time, only every other time. I learned that from my friend Hudson Taylor, who went to FSU. You like do a different snare every other time. Sounds kind of cool. And this hi-hat thing, this other loop that I stole, another open hi-hat, and a China cymbal. Gotta have that China cymbal because it's about to go into like a very heavy metal section. So I don't know. Figured it would be a good transition, I guess. All these effects. So not only is like the snare actually like crushing on beat 3, but every other time I literally just added sounds of impacts because I was like, I want this to just be like I'm thinking in a band, like 1, 2, 3, and it's like the drummer's just like destroying the snare drum and this China, just like absolute explosion. So I just added like sounds of explosions. Okay, and then the melodic stuff. There's a lot to unpack with these sounds, actually. So hold your horses. I'm going to start with something else, actually. We had this sound before. We had all of these sounds before. You'll probably just notice there's just like pulsating going on, and that's really easy. I have an LFO tool. And you can see this thing that's on the screen, that is the volume that the sounds are going to follow at this speed. Da, 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 da. So I can change this. And you can see it's like only a little bit. This is like every future bass producer's, you know, most important tool is this LFO tool. You just play chords and you screw around with this to get, I don't know where it was before, but it's the same chords. I just have the LFO tool on it. Hello. Yeah, I have this juicy 808 sample, and this is from Cymatics, the Astrogazing 808 in G sharp. I'm just sampling it to play a cool line. So there's these other sounds that are being added over now. So now from the last section, there's actually the last like chorus. There's actually added sounds on this one. So some different stuff. Let's check out what I'm adding. So this is me, blah, 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 like manually playing, like doing these weird chords, blah, blah. And then I have a filter that I'm swiping open manually. I could open up the automation, but it's frozen. So it's like a wah-wah pedal. So I'm going blah, 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 and I have a wah-wah pedal that's doing the same thing. Wah, 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 wah. This is just like the stock Reaper synthesizer, square wave. And you can see I just manually wrote in all these arpeggios. And they're basically following the chords. I mean, it's this basic line. And I'm just kind of following the chords with it. This is the exact same future bass, like saw synth sound that we talked about in the beginning, like my staple for the future bass stuff. So there's the pulsating one here. So we have the one that's da, that's just holding out, and the other one's going cha 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 cha. I guess I wanted the best of both worlds. I don't know. And then this super fuzzy. That's just doubling the melody. Just make it a little bigger. Multiple crowd now and my thoughts which one I'd be. That's all that, and then there's this vocal chop. Some loop thing I found that I chopped up, put it in key, and I don't know, it just gives it like some counter melody, something to fill in the space, like to add a little bit more energy from the first part. So this is kind of cool with this manual arpeggio. Oh, wait. Let me not speak out of turn here. With this arpeggio thing, you can see I automated the pitch. So when it reaches this pink line, it goes down, and that's the pitch falling down. Very cool effect, and that gets us perfectly ready to get into this next section. Synth solo coming in hot. Okay, so obviously this is just like a whole nother song right here. There's nothing, too similar. So let's talk about let's just listen to the actual metal track by itself. Here it is. So you can see I just this gent bus right here, I just created like a whole new bus for this because I wanted like to be able to contain like this whole new song. So let's talk about this and all that you can hear. Obviously, that sounds a little bit different. Those are funny. It sounds a little bit different without the other effects on top of it. But here is the drums. Now, like in metal and in is that a kazoo? That's so funny. I need to learn how to use those emoticons or emotes. I don't know. So like in both metal and like any type of dance music, the kick drum is like the most important thing. It's like obviously the loudest. Not only, I mean, it's like the lowest frequency usually, but it's like literally the loudest. Like when I'm mixing my Scro stuff, I'm always like, oh my gosh, my kick drum is so loud. But that's just what the genre calls for. So with this kick drum right here, it's actually a metal kick drum. These are from someone I have a sub to. That's cool. So here's like the metal kick drum. And then I used like a electronic dance kick drum. You can hear this sounds more like there's like that pitch that goes to it, and it's a little bit like, I don't know, fake sounding. So I just put them together. So I have a real metal kick drum and then a fake electronic drum, and I put them together, and it sounded decent enough to, you know, go from electronic to metal, where I still had that really punchy electronic sound, but I'm also getting this natural click and organic like mid-range from the actual drum by just putting them together. There's an instance of me being like, you know what? I'm not going to try and screw around with a sound until it gets to how I want it. I'm just going to stack two sounds on top of each other. It's like literally like the simplest idea. And then I have, this is another secret of mine. It's called the transient shaper. It's not a secret. Everyone uses this, but it's called the transient shaper. And this is from Kilohertz. It's in my Slate digital pack. It does, thank God for metal kick drum. That's what I'm talking about. So this transient shaper, for those of you who don't know, the transient is the start of a sound. So like when you hit a snare drum, like that's the P sound of the snare. There's the other like, that's like the sustain of it. So that P is the transient. So this is called a transient shaper, and it basically makes that click, that front end transient, a lot like punchier. So this is it without the transient shaper. You might need to have headphones for this, but a little weak, not too strong. I turn it on. It just immediately like explodes through. Got our cymbals, of course. Put the china here. Nice. We got the snares. I have way better snares now that my friend Joel sent me that I use for like absolutely everything. I would have changed this up, but. And then I have this gnarly bass tone. The band that I drummed for, or used to drum for, I don't know, Sleeping Dog, the bass player has this phenomenal rig where it's just like, it doesn't do it justice listening to in here because I had to mix it like a little bit differently so it worked right for the song. But dude, when he plays that thing, it is like the chunk demon. So I just went to his place with my gear and I like took his bass and his amp and just plugged it direct in and played this part. And then I have my guitar. This makes me, hold on. This makes me miss shows so much, like going to a live show and just hearing the guitar player walk on stage and like sound check. Like, yeah, more monitors, bro. Can I get a little more 400? Are we good? so disgusting sounding. So I have my 7 string, and usually the low string is an A. I just so I have a 7 string, but obviously if you have an 8 string, you can get lower, like an even lower note. But the only reason is because of the thickness of that string. So if you have a really thick string, you can get lower notes. So I just bought the 8th string of an 8 string and put it on my 7 string. So I have the low E, the 8 string note on my 7 string. So the tuning is like completely messed up, but it works pretty well. I like this part of the show. Thank you. The tuning's like all messed up, but it works for this. So I'm in low E, drop, low E. Yeah, just got this groovy riff. But this bass guitar is like the whole thing, though. I think there's 2 playing it. He has 2 different settings or 2 different guitars. That's why I have 2 tracks. I guess I picked that one. I don't know. Anyway, so in the actual song, there's a lot of other stuff happening. So let's see what that's all about. So we have, you can see we have this like reverse sound into that explosion. Like, again, I literally just added an explosion sound because when everything came in, I wanted it to be like boom, and it does because of an explosion. So there's that happening, and then there's also the electronic sounds that are happening over it to hopefully kind of mend it together. That's just a China cymbal, so that's not weird. But I have these 2 really fat snare drums. It just, helps if I take it out. Still sounds good, but these just give it, a lot more chunk. And then, of course, I got the trap hats going over it. This is really interesting because this tiny little sound of like the trap hat, I think completely changes the... It's even pretty quiet in the mix, but let me play it without it. Okay, we're grooving. We're getting heavy. But then we add those hats in. It's weird. It's almost like, I've always thought this, but I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant. So with like real organic music, I hate to use that term, but like things that use like real guitar and real drums, it's like as soon as you add an electronic sound, it's almost like those instruments become less important and are more of like a timbral, like spectral instrument rather than like, this is what you're listening to, this is the cool part. It's more of like, it's just adding to like the aesthetic. And as soon as you add these hi-hats in, it's like, oh, I'm not really listening to metal. I'm listening to some dance thing that they incorporate. I don't know. It's just like some weird theory that I've thought about for a while. And that's the whole thing. And then, of course, we got, I'm freezing. We have Matt Mihana's vocals that I just took out of the actual song. Sounds absolutely garbage because I'm like trying to use this program that's made to extract singing vocals, which have pitch and like a certain timbre. I'm trying to take out like these screaming vocals, so the program isn't used to that. It's like, didn't come out very well. That's like the main reason I wanted Matt to, redo this. Obviously, again, asking someone from a band to be like, yo, can you just like redo this? It's like, what are they going to get out of it, By the way, this track just hit 1,000 plays on Spotify, which is really, really cool because I did not get any playlist help from this. Like usually with all my tracks, the reason there's any amount of plays is because you get it on like some mid-sized playlist or something. But it's kind of cool after, 5-6 months, this has like 1,000 plays and they're all organic. it's just like people listening to it because they like it. So that's kind of like a cool win in my head. It'd be cool if I had thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of plays, but a lot of them do just come from like passive listens on playlists. So I have a little badge of honor on my chest that these are like 100% organic, that like 1,000 times someone just like was interested in listening to it like actively, instead of it just like showing up on a playlist and then you get a view, but like who cares about a view if they're not going to come back and listen to it anyways. Okay, and there's also this very scary these are 2 notes. This is called a minor second. Some people would call it a panic chord. Me being an elitist snob, it's not a panic chord. It's not even a chord. It's only 2 notes. 150 are me. Thank you, dude. That's Paul's email. I just subbed to him actually. I don't think he knows. I think something screwed up, but I just subbed to him. Yeah. So this is a minor second. So it's 2 notes playing right next to each other, and it sounds like garbage. And that's why it's used so much in metal, because it has this really anxious feeling to it. If we take that out, sounds cool. Sounds cool, I like it. But, it gives it like this eerie... That sounds really cool. You can probably hear it, but you might not be able to pick this up. But so I'm going to try to explain this. I'm playing 2 notes at the same time. Sorry, I'm playing 2 of the same exact note. I don't know if the camera's picking this up. I'm not watching myself. I'm playing 2 of the same exact note. Da, da, da. They're 2 Bs. And I'm bending only one of them up. So while one of them is staying static, the other one is going up. And then I bring it back down. Very cool sound. Obviously, if you like listen to metal or make metal, you're like, dude, Nick, stop talking about that. It's like day 1 in metal music. All right. Boom. Okay. Real quick. Thanks for everyone watching. Like I said, I can't really tell how many people are watching because, I don't know, I'm just a dummy and I don't know how this is working, but I'm very stoked that the people that are watching are here. This is all going to be up on YouTube again if you want to check it out, but thanks to my homies. I know C. Tombo, my #1 fan. Thank you, my mans. You the best. Cool. Is there any questions about anything up till there? That was like definitely a lot. There was the intro. These weird different drum feels, some weird chords. The song has traveled quite a lot. And that's how like music, metal and stuff back then was. Is it just the most important one? My dad said the most important one. What was I gonna say? Sorry, I'm cracking my toes. Very normal. Yeah, this original song, like, it's very all over the place, like genre and aesthetically. There's like, it's electronic and it's like metal. It's more metal, less. Oh yeah, the synth solo. Wait, you're talking about the end, Christian? This part? 'Cause that's a saxophone. That's my friend Ben playing the sax. Yeah, we'll talk about that real quick. So, this is my friend Ben that I met out here through my other friend Tim, who's like a phenomenal jazz sax player. He plays saxophone for like a decent sized band out here that some of my friends back in Florida like listen to actively. Let me check it out. He's also got like his own music. He's like the coolest dude. Let's see, it's like Runner or something. But yeah, I just hit him up and I was like, we'll talk about it, but this is definitely like jazzy here at the end. Yeah, it's Runner. Runner. Yeah, the band's just called Runner. These chords are super jazzy. It's 2-5-1, whatever, some secondary dominance. So I was like, this would be awesome to have like a real solo. I'm not like a jazz cat, so I can't really do stuff like that. Might as well have someone else feature on it and make it sound way better. We'll talk about this right now. He actually sent me 2 solos. One was a little bit too wacky for my taste. Let's listen to the other one. A little out, you know what I'm saying? But I asked him, I was like, dude, just make something so out and so crazy. And of course, saying that to a jazz guy, they're like, all right, I got you, fam. And they make something that like I don't even understand, which is cool. Like, that's really cool that he worked on it like that. But this other one he sent is, I really like it. We'll talk about this, but you notice I have this. This is like a rhythm that I use. It's like a 5 rhythm. I use basically all my music, whether it's like percussion or something weird like this. And he takes this motif and he starts with it, and that's what makes it sound really cool. So you have this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It just like, I heard that and I was like, oh, that's the one. And then he goes a bit wild with it. You can hear him breathe in there, which is so cool. Very organic. He's got some processing on his instrument. He didn't send it to me dry. I know he's got like this, certain effects he likes on it. I think it's pitched down or something like that. So he just sent me, his affected. Yeah, check him out, Ben McPeak. I'm following him, so you can go on my Instagram and check him out. But he's killer. Like, he's got a bunch of videos of him playing. I actually just hit up another jazz dude to play piano on the end of one of my songs I just put out. That's a little bit jazzy too. Okay, cool. Let's move on after this. Hopefully we're all hanging in there. This is a lot. I also have this dubstep growl. That I'm using to transition with a bunch of reverb on it. Let me. If you take it out, I don't know. I'm just like wanting some more like openness to go in it. Ended up sounding pretty cool. Sweet. So the only thing here is just my vocals and these chords. So I'm going to try and unfreeze this and freeze it again because there's something cool in here I want to talk about. So 1 second. Okay. So this is the Anna synthesizer. I'm going to turn the effect off so you can hear it. It sounds really nice without the effect too. It's like these tuned cans. But so there's this artist called Snail House who does like future bass. It's called kawaii future bass. Kawaii is like this certain aesthetic of being really like cute in Japan. If you Google Kawai kawaii, it's like very childish. But there's something endearing about it that I like. It's almost like kawaii future bass is like cute, heavy electronic music, and I think that juxtaposition is just really interesting. It's like very anime kind of, I don't know, super weird, but a lot of video game sounds, and when you put a bit crusher on it, a bit crusher, long story short, basically reduces the resolution of it. It crushes the bit rate of it, so you can hear. I'm gonna slowly just bring the resolution down, and you'll hear it like it's gonna sound more like a square, like a pixel. So check out while I ramp it down. There's nothing. Okay. That's literally like resolution. And then eventually the resolution gets so low you can only hear like one or two notes, and it just sounds really weird. So I had it at the default around 6K, and it gives it like this cool video game vibe. You put it on it. I put a bit crusher on like so much in this next track that's coming out in a few hours. There's some bit crushers on stuff. It's on, even on my vocals, I think. So anyways.
To be a pointless appreciation.
Let's play that whole section.
It has to be a unanimous determination, because one opinion would
Very
be
dope
a pointless appreciation.
So I wanted to go on with this, like, again, this whole, I literally put right here, Snail House AF in my notes. You can see the Snail House AF. Check out Snail House. There's a song called Pixel Galaxy. If you like this song and the end of this, hopefully you would like, that, because you're going to hear it and be like, oh, you literally just copied that song. Like, you're not even cool. But I'm going along with this, like, cute kawaii vibe. I did this in Castleton Drive, too. It has, like, this cute Japanese kind of aesthetic to it. And there's just a few things you need to do that. So we have this 8-bit sound. You do some like Tinker Toys. This is, a melody I made. See how it just sounds really cute, right? It's like video game sounds with this like little toy piano. And then this session is so big. Then we have this clock sound, very Zed vibes. I like it. We got a little accordion. I'm going to talk about these chords soon. I'm just talking about the sounds. A lot of organic instruments, like real instruments. The accordion, we have the clock, we have this toy piano. These are like real sounding, instruments. I have this pizzicato, which is a string plucking. Another real, like, organic instrument in there, right? I have playing my melodica. That's me literally taking my melodica and playing it in the microphone. Another real, real instrument. We have these flute trills. I get this idea from Matt Borner. I sent him this song, and I was like, what can I do to make this sound more like orchestral and more organic? And he said, do some flute stuff. So I got these from YouTube. I just sampled them from some YouTube video. much more organic can you get than flute trills? Okay. And then Ben, he also recorded some like harmony parts for this whole build up as well. Some of them were pretty spicy. When you listen to them on their own, let's do that. Listen to this on its own, and it doesn't even sound like the same song because the notes fit, but it's so wacky. Right there. That sounds like a major chord. And then I actually took everything else out after that because it's too wacky for me. Okay. And then we add in some actual electronic sounds. So we got our 808. Nice. Very kawaii future bass. Some 808s with organic sounds. And then this really nice. Oh. Is this not the sexiest sound you've ever heard? So some more electronic noise. Turn off my stinking vocals. Just like so many timbres, so many textures going on right now, which is what I was going for. Okay, some more weird stuff. I have like this, to me it sounds like a taiko drum. Oh yeah, there's claps, more organic sounds. I had a note here that I was going to add in French horns. Didn't end up doing that. This like taiko drum. I made this loop. It says sick loop. I actually made this one, I promise. Nice. And then there's something important. Okay, this is, I've always wanted to do something like this, and I never had a synthesizer to do it. This turned out pretty cool. Check out this sound. Let's unpack that. So you can see by the MIDI, I'm just holding out one chord with the exception of right here, which I'm going to talk about the chord progression a little bit because the chord progression changed and that note didn't work, so I had to change it. But even though I'm holding out the one chord, this is what's happening. I'm holding out a chord and there's an arpeggiator on there, and an arpeggiator just cycles through the notes. You hold it down and it, like, check it out. Play one note. Oh, it's too fast. Okay, so I'm holding 2 notes, 3 notes. It's just cycling through them really fast. As you all know, I am the arpeggiator boy. So, of course, I'm going to put it anywhere I can. And, like, think about this logistically. You have an arpeggiator, but you want it to speed up as time goes on. Okay, well, the arpeggiator plugin you have needs to have a tempo knob. My arpeggiator plugin does not have a tempo knob. It has a rate knob, but it doesn't work how I wanted it to. Oh, wait a second. Am I just like talking out of line right here? Huh, I guess I did exactly what I wanted to do. I don't know why this was difficult for me before. Anyways, okay, my arpeggiator does have a rate knob. I was thinking maybe another song I had to work around that. And you can see um, it just gets faster and faster. Here's the rate. And you could probably, hold on. You probably can note it. Did I just get louder? You probably noticed the filters opening up too, so I automated that. Check it out. This blue line right here. So this is all the high end. You know, so there's a bit of automation going on to make that sound happen, but all together. And then the other thing is I think there's something holding over that was supposed to be muted. The other thing I have is this bass sound. It's like revving up. Sounds like a motorcycle. So that's just like a riser. It's literally just like causing tension, you know, wanting something to happen. So you can see I'm automating the pitch. And I'm also automating the filter, which is like womp, like if you were to like put it in your mouth and then take it out of your mouth. So both the pitch and the filter is opening up. So it's like two parameters that are kind of giving it more tension. Okay, the chords for this. Let's just listen to the chords by themselves. I hope you guys are sticking with me. I know this is taking a bit to get through, but thanks for hanging out. I know on the East Coast it's super late too. It's a chromatic walk down. There we have it. So I'm just checking something really quick. Sorry. Interesting chords. I won't really go over the theory of them too much. If you like are super interested in it, you can just DM me. I don't mind going over it at all. But at the end of the day, it's just some jazzy chords. There's like a 2-5, a 4. There's some modal stuff, I think. There's some like chromatic walk downs. Then we take those same chords, and then, oh my gosh, we're almost done, y'all. Okay, we take those same chords. Do that right here. So you can notice that my dad's sticking by East Coast heavy. Thanks, Papa. So you notice I have a whole new bus, or a whole new group for this sound, for like the main thick. Like if you think about most of my songs, it's like drums and percussion, the big fat wall of sound, and then a melody. So it's like 3 units: percussion, fat wall of sound. That includes like the low end and all like the wideness, and then the melody that's on top. So this big sound, not the melody, is all different sounds. I think we can check those out individually. Let's see. Make sure to not do the ARP. Let's check them out. So we have this sound. Sounds like a tuba sound. I think I'm resampling a tuba sound. This is, what is this? Oh, I think this is just my voice going. Ooh. Let's see. Hopefully this will be interesting to y'all. This sound. Let's not loop that. Can you guys hear that? It's like, I think that's me making this sound, and I laid it out on the keyboard. Very weird. You know, you manipulate it a little bit more, and you can make it do like proper chords. And you get this. Of course, I got my arpeggio sound. Oh, don't know why I didn't have it there. Okay. Here's my staple, my Serum stack, these huge future bass chords. And then I have the low end. Probably can't hear that, but this is what like shakes the room. So all these sounds in like all my songs, like these stacks, it's this Serum sound, which is like the cake, the meat of it all, and then everything else kind of gives it a little bit just a different flavor, because I still like, that's the future bass sound that I'm always going for, is this. It's super big, almost like 80s chords, and if you put them together with everything else, you get this like cool sound. Sweet. So now there's something else I did with that. Check it out. So I had to bounce these all together, or basically like flatten them. Like if you had like, you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like 6 different images or sounds. I flattened them all into one sound. And then these blue lines right here are pitch. So you can see the pitch bends up and down between each chord, just like a guitar player would. So if you were playing this on stage, you know, when you're getting really into it, you do stuff like, right? You do all these like slides to give it like some character and flavor. And a lot of time with like electronic musicians, I mean, obviously the really good ones don't have trouble with this, but when you're starting out, like everything feels not as organic and not as flavorful. So I think for me, like a big thing that I'm fortunate enough to have been a part of is I've been a lot of ensembles, jazz, orchestra, funk, marching band, like you name it, like Christian, you know, worship band stuff. And I like understand what each instrument does when they're doing it and why they do it. So those like little intricacies help you like I'm always thinking I'm like in a band when I'm producing music, even if it's electronic music, like what are the drums doing or what's the percussion doing? Like the synth does the guitar and the melody is like the lead or something. So right here, those pitches are being like bent in and out. If you take all that off, it just does not sound as cool. I always have trouble doing this. Hold on. So if you don't bend it in and out, oh my gosh, come on, Nick, you piece of poop. Oh, sweet, I just transposed it. Okay. It's just like a little bit static and boring sounding. So you put them back in. Just a little details, little flavor, you know? Okay, we got some cool counter melodies. There's that toy piano sound. Dun, 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 dun. Some like really quick, you know, cutesy little melody. I love this right here. Fits really nicely with the chord. I mean, it's just playing the chords. And this next part, it's the same thing. I guess let's kind of talk about the fill. I haven't talked too much about the effects, which are pretty important, honestly. Okay, just to make it even more cutesy, you could probably hear that, but there's literally like sounds of kids yelling. And you probably don't notice, but it's actually pretty loud in the mix. And it gives you that like, oh, Paul, what's up, dude? Thanks for coming by. It gives these kids yelling gives you that effect of like, that is cute. You're in like this playground. It's very playful. We have the playful organic instruments. So you can probably hear that now when I play it. Oh, all together. Now, when you listen back to the song, you're not gonna be able to unhear that, even though you probably never heard it in the first place. I also have the, this is the Super Smash Bros. Like when you smack someone really far. Probably noticed that. Along with my favorite Crash sample and a big snare. Got all this going on. And I think there's one more new thing in the drums and percussion. This song took months to produce. Not only did I like really challenge myself, maybe like 2.5 months. Not only did I really challenge myself to like make something that I would enjoy. Like this is one that I was like, you know what? This band I Set My Friends on Fire, they're like not a huge band, right? But they were my favorite band when I was growing up. And like this song, Things That Rhyme with Orange, is just like the playlist to my middle school years, and all my friends too. They all love this band, and we like, put them on a pedestal and stuff. Me and my friend Devin like had a metal band that we wanted to be just like them and stuff. So for me, I was like, I'm gonna reimagine this in about saying the actual note, because those small things, dude, they really do. I wanted to like reimagine this, something that I would like jump up and down for if I saw live, So I know a lot of people might not feel that because, they don't know this original song in the first place. But for me, like when I was producing this, I was like, dude, this is what I would want to hear if I met someone just like me. That's what I would hope that they would make, I was like totally just doing it for myself. Here's the drums. Nothing too weird. The same loops, same open hi-hats, same weird snare stuff, I think. You can hear I have a crash cymbal hitting those accents with the chord. Because that's just what a drummer would do, right? Like, you gotta have something else kind of hitting it along with that. You can hear there's the reverse. There's a reverse of the kids yelling. It's me reversing the sound and using it as a riser. Okay, this little break, there's kind of a lot going on. So these are like Nintendo samples. I don't know exactly what that's from. Little block sound. It's obviously like the game turning on. And while that's happening, I have this interesting melody. I don't know where I came up with that, but I'm using this like super standard 8-bit kind of square wave. Dude, it's like in Castle Giant where the build rhythm is the same as the drop. Dude, yeah, it's kind of interesting. These little, I call them, me and my friend called it something, egg. I don't play video games enough to know this. What is it called when there's something cool that like doesn't need to be there? Easter egg, right? An Easter egg. It's like Easter eggs that are just like, ooh, that was fun. That's cool to know. They're just for myself, but you know, it's cool to talk about them. Okay, and Paul, I think you missed this, but check out this rhythm. Yeah, Big 8 right before Soup. It's so true. So this rhythm, I'm sure you guys, Christian and Paul, I'm sure you guys remember this from Big 8, but I did this rhythm. It's like a 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you do it, you know, in 4/4. That's what's going on here, but really fast. Wait. Yeah, it's some sort of 5 thing. Dude, those are like, dun, 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 dun. It is, yeah, those are the notes for the Stranger Things thing. I use this lick, I made a little TikTok on it, but I use this lick in all of my songs. Every single song I've ever put out, I use da 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 dum. So many, I mean, I actually have a playlist. It's like 50 songs deep of any time I hear that lick, I put it in this playlist, and you can go through and you can hear na 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 dun 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 like throughout all these different songs. I should put Stranger Things in it because that is literally the main riff. Boom 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 boom. Anyways, so there's that. A little bit of a melodica solo. It's my tagline, dude. That's my tagline. I actually made my own, like, what's it, Sonic branding tagline thing. It's at the end of all of my videos now. It's like this arpeggio that's playing this same thing. You know, got to get my branding down. Know what I'm saying? Check out these cool sounds I use for my reverses. These are just sounds I found. I didn't do anything to them. And then there's this one. Those are just from Cymatics. There's kids cheering. So this is the same thing. It's just there's this crazy sax solo going on. Here we are at the end. So this is kind of an interesting thing. Castleton Drive kind of does this too, where time gets really ambiguous and the timing is like lopsided. Check it out. Oh, let me restart that. So weird. So I think everything is playing a different tempo here. We have this. It's playing a constant rhythm. We have these chords. That's like not really on time. Kind of slow. Dun, 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 dun. like totally slow, not right at all, not the right tempo. And then this. This is actually slowing down in time. I don't remember how I made that, but something to do with the clock, and maybe I used like the tape stop thing, but there's some other sounds in it too. It's just a reversed, or something weird. So you put it all together, and you have like a bunch of wacky tempos going on. It just makes it seem like the whole thing is like, since this whole thing was like very childish, like very kid sounding with all like the kid instruments and like the kids yelling and stuff. Like there's something about this like I'm trying to make it feel like you're warping back into, I don't know, being a kid or not being a kid or something. It's very like you're in this fantastical universe where there's all these like colors and weird sounds, and then it finally like fades into real life or something. I don't know. Yeah, this clock sounds the coolest because it's not only slowing down, it's also the pitch is getting lower. And then I added a bunch of reverb, I think. You can really hear each cog turning in that. So boom, dude, that is that. I'm going to real quick talk about the vocals. I'm going to say again, new track, single, Time to Go, is coming out in maybe an hour or two. So that's really exciting. There's going to be a music video coming out next week. Also very cool. This is my first song with the record label. So hopefully they're helping. Yeah, I did stretch the sample, but it's not just like a continuous stretch. I had to like gradually stretch the sample, and I'm using, I know you didn't see this, but there's this tape stop plugin where I'll show you really quick. This is how I did it. Okay, so I have this tape stop plugin from Kilohertz or the Slate bundle. Oh, come on, let's get some notes. That's what I did. Sorry, you couldn't hear me during that whole time. Yeah, I have this tape stop plugin, and you press the pause button, and it falls, and you press play, it brings it back, and you can do the stop time and make it like really crazy. I think I did that, and also like you can right here the playback speed. Oh my God, Nick, you stinky boy! What am I doing here? What have I done? You can automate this playback. Nice guitar solo. So I think I just recorded myself doing that, like in another track or something. Just automated that and recorded it. I think that's what I did. All right. Oh yeah. So new track coming tomorrow with the record label. Blah blah blah. Should be cool. Blah, 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 thank you. I'm gonna do a breakdown of the new track tomorrow. Probably next week. Maybe not. This is a little bit taxing doing this kind of thing. It's really fun, but I think I want to just do like a normal piano stream next week because check this out, y'all. Not only do I have this, but I also have this. It should have changed over for when I do song requests and stuff. So I got two. This one and this one. This one and this one. So I think I want to do my piano thing just because it'll be fun. Maybe in 2 weeks I'll do it. All right, let's check out my vocals and then we're all good to go.
I only want you to think I'm fantastic. I'll participate and watch you.
So it goes without saying this is hard auto-tuned. I took a lot of takes to get the good ones, and like it's tuned really heavy, but the harmonies are really cool to listen by themselves, I guess. So let's do that really quick.
I only want you to think I'm fantastic. I'll participate and watch you believe if you give me the attention. Yeah, that's the only compensation. So am I in or am I out?
I just want to say a big thank you to everyone that pushed me in completing college, my family, my parents. Because I could not have done that, making it sound so good. It's the voice leading. I'm using proper chord inversions. Sounds very good. It's a 3-part harmony. Let's check them out each. That was a weird thing I just said. What is wrong with me? I mean, not really, but it's just like, dude, shut up. All right, check it out.
So am I in or am I out? So am I in or am I out? So am I in or am I out?
Dude, that sounds good there at the end.
So am I in or am I out?
Nice. Let's see who's next.
What is that big brush for? Are you preparing to draw me? No, wait, please don't. I am scared of what I'll see.
It's cool to think that the original song does not do those harmonies. The original song just does.
What is that big brush for? Are you preparing to draw me?
And I've always, for I guess 10 years now, been singing this other harmony in my head.
What is that big brush for? Are you preparing to draw me?
Same with this part.
No, wait, please don't.
That's the original, and here's what I added.
No, wait, please don't. I am scared of what I'll see.
So it's just really cool to finally be like, boom, actualizing that, putting pen to paper, I guess you could say. Dude, Paul, I'm glad you're enjoying this. And thank you for the compliment on the overlays. I made them myself. Let's hear what this is.
Blame it on my corporate skyscrapers in the clouds. But if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have fun.
This is the exact same thing I was saying, where these higher harmonies are not in the original song. It's just something I've always sang to myself. So it's cool to add them and be like, yep, those are supposed to be there.
For you, we wouldn't have all these multiple crowds. How am I supposed to choose which one I belong to?
Theoretically, what's going on, it's a little bit confusing. I mean, it's very textbook, like what you should be doing given the chord progression, but usually you just harmonize something with thirds, which means like whatever the melody is, you go one up above that, and then you go one more, so a third. So if the melody goes da da da, then the harmony is gonna start 2 notes above that, which is a third, and it's gonna go da da da. So everything's kind of moving like this, and there's a space between it, and the space is called a third. General rule of thumb is harmonies are just gonna be a third, like they're just harmonies are thirds. There's some instances where that actually won't work because the third that you're creating doesn't fit in the actual chord, and the extra note that you're singing could clash with the chord. It could add to the chord and give it a cool flavor, but I think as a composer, producer, you need to be very aware of that. Sometimes the high note will kind of stay stagnant. I really thought you were, I had no idea. Oh, dude, thank you so much. Yeah, I was going to rip them off. Here's what they sound like ripped off. Oh, jeez. No. Hold on a sec. Okay, so here is, I tried to extract the vocals out of the original. And I like I kind of sound like that, you know, like that's just like music I've been growing up listening to, and I just kind of have that like, you know, stupid pop punk sort of voice. So I actually fooled myself after I recorded it. I was like, did I actually record that? Because I would look in the session and I'd be like, I don't remember. Anyways, so yeah, and some of these harmonies, you'll notice they stay stagnant. So let's see if I can
supposed to choose which one I belong to.
Not that part.
You'd have all these multiple crowds, but if it wasn't for you, it on my Cooperage skyscrapers in the clouds.
So those are all moving
wasn't for you,
together.
you'd have all these multiple crowds. How am I supposed to choose which one I be?
So right there, I guess those are fourths right there because the thirds don't fit the chord. Here's what it would be with third. This is like the last thing I'm going to talk about, by the way. And then I'm gone. Let's check this out.
How am I
Here's the original melody.
To choose which one I belong to. How am I supposed to choose which one I belong to?
Dude, thank you, Paul, by the way. Thank you. That means a lot. So we're talking about thirds. If you're going to sing harmony over that, like we said, a good rule of thumb is you're going to sing thirds. Da 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 da. I'm going to right now, I'm going to sing you thirds, perfect thirds over each note.
How am I supposed to choose which one I belong to?
Okay, that doesn't sound bad, but there's that note I'm sitting on. Da, na, 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 na. It kind of doesn't sit well with the chord that it's playing over. So you're actually adding a note to the harmony or to the chords, and it doesn't really sound right. So I'm going to change it to fix it to a fourth. In this instance, the fourth sounds better than the third.
How am I supposed to choose which one I belong to?
Rather than
which one I belong to.
So here's a fourth.
Which one I belong to.
And here's back to the third.
Which one I belong to.
Now, out of context, you could be like, yeah, they both sound good. But the chord that it's playing over changes everything. So let's listen to what that chord is, because I don't remember.
How am I supposed to choose which one I belong to?
It's an A minor. So the reason that I have to do a fourth here, this is going to be nothing but playing an A minor chord. When I sing the harmony of a third, it ends up being a sixth of a chord, and you get a minor sixth, and you don't want a minor sixth. It would be much better to have a minor seventh. Sixths are usually not very consonant, depending on the context. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, that is that, I think.
It has to be
Here's another instance where I'm using some fourths rather than thirds.
One opinion would be
Dude, how do you do that? Just
pointless appreciation.
Dude, I just freaking do it, dog. It's actually like at FSU, we took classes for it. Oral skills or oral training. Don't mean to flex on y'all. but I exempted out of those classes. So for 4 semesters, I just went into class on first day, sat around for the class, and at the end, I took the exemption and basically took like the final exam of each course on the first day. And they said, okay, you don't need to take this. But this is like something that if you know, have a degree in school, like you're supposed to be able to do that, like singing thirds and stuff. But being able to understand the fourth stuff, you need to know a lot about the context of like the actual music. But thanks, dudes. It's definitely fun doing that. Yeah, sight singing. That's what it was. I thought it was oral skills or something. Oh, and I have this little crowd chant. Do you really, Paul? That sucks. It's tough. Like those sight singing classes, like I'm trying to say this in like the best way possible, but I think I was definitely born with like a predisposition to understand that. And I can see that like as a teacher, I can see that there's a lot of students of mine who I can just tell. The only way I can put it in words is they just got it. Like they have it. They have the rhythm or they have the ear. I could go into detail of what exactly that means, but at the end of the day, some of the students, they just got it. And I think they're just born with this predisposition of having a really good ear. Not only having a good ear, but understanding the context of what they're singing and hearing and how it relates to everything else they're seeing and hearing. That being said, a lot of my students who do dance classes have the best rhythm. To have good rhythm, you need to be able to move your body with it. That's why like African music and like African kids are so incredibly like rhythmically oriented. And they're just like perfect on beat because they grow up dancing. Like in their culture, that's part of the music is dancing. And we don't do that too much in America, so that's why, sometimes you'll see kids that don't got it. But that was about rhythm, not much about melody in your ear. But again, I think some people are born with a predisposition. Some people just haven't, some don't. I just have never done chorus or anything, so I had to learn it. Yeah, it's hard if you're just like not exposed to that. I mean, my dad obviously is like super into music, and I'm always listening to music. And my mom too, she's always listening to music. She even played flute when she was in high school. And I know my dad told me he played sousaphone. He was a drummer and stuff. So, like, I definitely inherited something from my parents, but I was also just always exposed to music and being around it at like a super young age. So, anyways, I had these crowd chants where it's just me recording the same part 6 times in a row. Christian, you have your own set of skills that I could never be a part of. I don't have that. I know I used to bag on accountants all the time, but that's kind of messed up of me. I don't know why that was always my like go-to job that I just said. That was not cool of me. Because you're way smarter than anything I'm doing, that's for sure. All right, I think that's it. Oh yeah, I use a little bit crusher. Oh, I didn't even talk about this. What is wrong with me? So this is me singing that harmony with a bit crusher on it. That's normal, and this is with a bit crusher. So you can hear it just sounds like terrible resolution. You can slide it around and you get so low that you can't even hear the words, just the tone. You can get some cool sounds if you automate that the right way. And I also have Google Translate, featuring Google Translate. I had Google say, all 4 of those syllables, put them in with the bit crusher. Here's without the bit crusher.
I belong to. I belong to.
And here's with the bit crusher.
I belong to.
And you put them together.
I belong to.
And then you have that huge Smash Bros sample.
Long 2.
And that's that. Oh my goodness. That took longer than I thought. I thought it was going to take, well, I thought it was going to take an hour and a half. Took 2:15. Sweet. Oh, wait, I never thought to do the Google Translate thing. Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? I don't know why I had that in my head. I know all these ideas I have are just from other songs. Like, I don't even know exactly where they're from, but that was everything. I think I was able to nag each little element in here and give it the time of day it deserved. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'll be streaming next week, just playing piano. I figured out this whole request system, so I can do this where, okay, I could do the piano thing, and then you go to random, and then there it goes. It pops out a song, shows up on the screen, and then I play it, and then I click something and it goes away. I got a songbook. You can check out the songbook, request songs to do that. So that's what I'll be doing normally. But let me do this on. Anyways, whoa, that's what I look like. That's what the lighting is like. Cool. Dude, I'm just going to stick on this or I can do this. Doink. No. What am I doing? There we go. I'm going to head out. Thanks so much, guys, for hanging out. This was a lot of fun. I'm really glad I was able to have this platform. Oh, yeah, new track in like an hour. This is exciting with the new record label. So let's see. Hopefully they can push it heavy, get some new stuff going on. But yeah, very cool. Thanks so much. Check out the single. This will be on YouTube, so whatever. Music video in a week. I have a bunch of promotional stuff for this. I'm doing a Genius video, my own Genius lyrics video. I'm just going to be like making fun of it the whole time. So that should be cool. Awesome. Thanks so much, dude. I will catch y'all later. Peace.